All right, everyone. In this set of videos, we will be talking about the Fibonacci retracement tool. The Fibonacci retracement tool is this one labeled right here. And when you go ahead and pull it out, you will get a bunch of different set of proportions. But before we get into it, let's give some background about the Fibonacci sequence and why the tool is so useful. Well, the Fibonacci sequence was derived from Leonardo Fibonacci, and it basically is a sequence that adds the number that was prior to it to the number that you're currently on to get the next number. So it basically goes 1 and then 1 plus the number before it, which would be 0, gives you 1 again. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 plus 8 is 21. 21 plus 13 is 34, and so on and so forth. But what these numbers approach, if you go ahead and take a number and then put it as a proportion in terms of putting that number in the numerator and then the next number in the denominator, this series of numbers approaches a proportion of 0.618, which is actually this level right here. Now, the 0.618 proportion appears everywhere in nature. It appears in sunflowers, it appears in conch shells, and it even appears in the parts of the human body. Now, being that the stock market is pretty much comprised of humans making a bunch of collective decisions all at once, the stock market could be thought of as an ecosystem of decisions, and therefore, the stock market is pretty much nature itself. Now, if the stock market is nature, then it is going to follow this proportion that appears everywhere in nature, and we will talk about more in this series of how exactly it follows. But the big level that we're talking about here is the 0.618 level. Of course, in the next videos, we're going to be talking about how to use it, why it's so powerful, and how to become a successful trader by simply using these different proportions and different levels. There are different proportions and levels that you are seeing here that we'll talk about as well. But let's just start off this video with how to draw the Fibonacci retracement tool. Let me go ahead and delete this one here. And basically, how you draw the tool is you're looking for a move that has occurred. Preferably, you're looking for an impulse move, which is a move that occurs with the direction of the trend. So if we look right here, we have an impulse move. And basically, what you're going to want to do is select the tool, go from the first relative high. If it's a downtrend, you're going to be going from the relative high. And then second point is going to be at the relative low. And then you'll see a series of proportions that pop up on your screen. If we were trying to go ahead and track the retracement of an uptrend, say if we were looking at this move right here, we would go from relative low this time to relative high, and we would get our proportions like so. But basically, the name of the game is you're always going to be going from left to right, and you're going from either an absolute low or high to an absolute high or low. You're going from low to high if you're looking at an uptrend and you're tracking the retracement back of it. And a retracement is just a move in the opposite direction of the move that you are tracking. So if we're looking at this downside move right here, I would go from relative high, going from the left side, to the relative low, which is the right side. And now these proportions that you see are tracking the retracement of this total move right here. So basically what these levels mean is the 0.618 level is 0.618 of this move right here. The 0.382 level would, of course, be 0.382, a proportion of this entire move right here. And then the 1 level would be a full retracement back to the upside. Let's go ahead and talk about the settings and levels that we're going to be using. If I go ahead and click on the settings right here, you'll see that I have deselected a lot of them. By standard, you'll usually have the 236, the 5, and then the 786. However, I have changed some of these, and we'll talk about exactly why in the future videos. But the levels that we're looking at to keep here are the 0 level, 0.382, 0.618, 0.707, the 1, the 1.414, and the 1.618 level. These are going to be the levels that we're looking at over the course of these videos. So definitely stay tuned and see the power behind each of these levels. They each have their own use, and they each have a very strong and powerful use to them.